Good morning, Europe. Thank you for starting your day with us. Here's a look at Wednesday's top stories.
Soaring temperatures fuel devastating wildfires across Europe and shatter records in the UK. Russian President Vladimir Putin says negotiations are moving forward on lifting a blockade on Ukrainian grain. And a decisive day for Italy as Prime Minister Mario Draghi faces a confidence vote in Parliament.
Wildfires continue to rage across Europe. A blaze on the outskirts of Athens has forced people to evacuate. It began in tinder-dry vegetation at the foothill of Mount Penteli and quickly spread, whipped up by powerful winds. On Tuesday evening, about 78 firefighters, assisted by 22 engines and 16 aircrafts, were trying to tame the fire, which was burning on two fronts. In the Gironde region of southwest France, two massive fires feeding on parched pine forests have also forced tens of thousands of locals to flee their homes. Summer vacation spots such as the famous Dune du Pilat, the tallest sand dune in Europe, have seen fires destroy campsites, bringing holidays to an abrupt end.
The dune is behind us, the wood is charred, as we can see. There is a landscape of desolation behind us, and it will take time to find its beauty once again.
Swirling winds and extreme heat have complicated firefighting. One of the fires near Bordeaux is thought to have been started deliberately. In Spain, the battle to contain fires is taking place on several fronts, with northwest Zamora, Galicia and Costa del Sol now under control. Experts say the extreme heat and wildfires have come 3 weeks earlier than usual this year. In Portugal, cooling temperatures have eased the pressure on emergency crews, even if more torrid weather is forecast for this Wednesday.
Flames engulfed several homes on the outskirts of London on the day temperatures in the UK exceeded 40 degrees Celsius for the first time since records began. The images have shocked policymakers and the public as buildings had to be evacuated after a grass fire spread to the properties. An unknown number had to be taken to hospital, some suffering from smoke inhalation. But it wasn't the only blaze. There were numerous emergency calls to tackle fires in and around the capital, including the one at Wennington. London's fire brigade was forced to declare a major incident.
Well, I was sunbathing in my garden and then a massive black cloud come across. I looked up. That side of Wellington was on fire, and within an hour it spread all the way to our house. So we've got a field outside our house that's on fire. All of our cars have gone.
Several grassland areas in the southeast of England have caught fire, billowing smoke over major roads. The authorities are urging people to be vigilant and not to have barbecues as a precaution.
The Gironde in France's southwest has been engulfed by some of the biggest wildfires this country has ever seen.
Did you see, since we left, the number of kilometers we drove where both sides are burned? It gives you an idea of the affected surface. It's huge for us. And what you have to understand is that there is not one fire, there are at least two. And each one of them, the one in Testevue or this one in Landira, is the size of what we're used to dealing with over an entire summer.
20,000 hectares of forest have been destroyed so far. Aware of the magnitude of the problem, some locals have been taking matters into their own hands.
We have watered the sides of the road to make sure the fire doesn't come back. To save the forest, to save what hasn't been burned yet, to help as much as possible.
Over 2,000 firefighters have been deployed to the region, but authorities say the elements have been against them so far, and the fire remains out of control. The main challenge for these firefighters is the heat, but also the wind. It keeps changing the direction of the fire, forcing them to relocate multiple times every day.
We fight fires every year, but this is very difficult to handle because it's everywhere. We are everywhere at once. We try to be as fast and as efficient as we can. But just now, we went to the other side and it started again here. If we don't go around, there will be a new start over there.
The work to put out the massive flames could be eased as temperatures are expected to drop over the next few days. And if the environmental impact on France's largest forest area will be felt for generations, so will the gratitude towards those who helped minimize the tragedy.
Firefighters have done extraordinary work. They are heroes. The flames were as high as the pine trees and they were out 20 meters from my home. I was allowed to go back to check my animals. I mean, I only have 2 chickens, nothing major, but they saved my chickens and my house.
Annalise Borges in the Gironde in the southwest of France for Euronews.
Keeping cool is becoming a major preoccupation across Europe as the current heatwave spreads. Germany is already in the grip of high temperatures, with the west of the country scraping the 40-degree mark. In Cologne, the authorities were prepared with a new water spray system. In the Netherlands, people flocked to Hague Beach as temperatures reached record levels. The country has just recorded its 3rd hottest day ever. Experts blame climate change for this latest heat wave and warn worse is in store in years to come. In Madrid, there's been a reminder of the dangers excessively hot weather can bring. A second rubbish collector has died from heat stroke, triggering an intense debate in Spain about working conditions under extreme temperatures. In the UK, the heatwave is disrupting rail travel. As the country faced its hottest ever day, all trains are cancelled from London's King's Cross station, leaving travellers stranded.
I find that all the trains are cancelled due to heat, which I don't get it. They got trains in Australia, they work. What's the problem here?
Meanwhile, Belgian zoos are handing out ice lollies to the inmates. It's part of special measures including frozen food and extra showers to protect the animals. Sri Lanka's acting president and former Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe is hoping to be confirmed as head of state when Parliament meets today. However, it's not a foregone conclusion as 2 other politicians are vying for the job. The vote follows the resignation of former leader Gotabaya Rajapaksa after he fled the country last week over the island's worst ever economic crisis. At least 16 Democratic members of the US Congress have been arrested during a protest in support of abortion rights in front of the Supreme Court. The civil disobedience action was staged in the aftermath of the historic overturning of Roe v. Wade last month. The politicians joined in chants saying, "Our bodies, our choice, and we won't go back." The Bidens have welcomed Ukraine's First Lady Olena Zelenska to the White House ahead of her address to Congress. Zelenska is in Washington to increase US support for her war-battered country, to boost humanitarian assistance and to discuss mental health issues of traumatized Ukrainian women and children. The visit returns a surprise trip Jill Biden made to Kyiv last May.
In a time of war, journalists are on the front line, and UNESCO says Ukraine is currently one of the most dangerous countries in the world for them.
Russia tried to stop independent journalism on occupied territory because they want to spread just propaganda, Russian propaganda, pro-Russian propaganda.
UNESCO has given journalists in Ukraine 125 protective gear kits, bulletproof vests and helmets to help keep them safe.
Journalists are targets, TV stations are targets. More than 10 TV towers were attacked in Ukraine, so the media infrastructure is also attacked.
Over 30 reporters have died in Ukraine since the start of the Russian invasion.
You're watching Good Morning Europe. Do stay with us. Lots more to come on the programme.